It was yet another rainy Saturday, but we still wanted to go on a day trip, so we headed north, where it stopped raining pretty soon, and we decided to just go to an exit we had never been to. So we decided Elizabethtown was as good of a place as any, so we came here and discovered there was this Adirondack History Museum in an old high school in Elizabethtown, and we decided to check it out, and it was a really cool museum. We had been to the big Adirondack Museum up in Blue Mountain Lake, I think it is, and we figured this was going to be kind of small in comparison, of course, but it was really interesting. They had a huge fire tower right here, and we actually climbed to the top of that. And I'll take you inside after we take a little tour here. This is a grinding wheel that they made a fountain out of. I really like that idea. It's a really nice building, and obviously too small for the school size they need now. That's a neat sculpture. You can see the fountain through. And that's the shape of the Adirondack Park on that sign. And when we walk up the side here, we notice that the side has the word girls on it, so I'm guessing the other side had the word boys for where they were supposed to enter school. I love irises, and they happen to have some pretty ones. Now we're inside, and we just started walking around and seeing all the Adirondack artifacts and categories, things like loggers and different tools. I know it's hard to see what some of these things are, but stick around, because at the end you'll see the view from the water tower, and you'll see a really neat room that had to do with a man that helped design some of the little fun parks up here, Make-Believe Land and Storytown and things like that. So just enjoy a little bit of the museum with the music, and I'll jump in and speak when I feel there's something worth saying. On the little plaque next to this bear is a neat story about him. His name is Cobble Hill Bill. And if you pause it when I get to the story, you can read it pretty clearly. This room talked all about the Adirondack high peaks, and it shows a lot of pictures of some of the taller mountains, and it will show the 46 high peaks, and there's a group of people that like to hike, and when you hike these mountains, you become people who are trying to be called the 46ers, and those are people that hike all 46 of the high peaks. And in a minute here, it's going to show you all of them in order from the shortest to the tallest of the high peaks. The woman coming up on this TV was someone who liked to share the stories and just get the stories of the men who liked to climb the mountains and become the 46ers. So these are all of the 46 high peaks with a picture of the mountain, its elevation and its name, and a story about it. And this was fascinating. I had never seen something like this, talking about the high peaks like this. I have been to the summit of Whiteface Mountain, which is actually coming up here as the 5th of the height. So it's the 5th shortest of the high peaks. I did not climb it. We drove to an area towards the top, and then you can get out and you can hike to the very top, or you can take an elevator. We actually hiked it from the tourist spot where they actually have a restaurant and shop in there, but that's the only one we have actually been at the very top of. I did a short video about it as part of another video I did when I first started my channel, so you might be able to go back and find it. This room is all about women's suffrage. There's stories here about Susan B. Anthony and women's rights to vote and the history of earning the right to vote and all the things that went along with the elections and how the women were eventually able to vote. It's very informative. I stood and read some of the information. This room was really whimsical. It is full of things in the design from the man who designed a place up in the Adirondacks called the Land of Make-Believe. And he also did design for other little parks such as Storytown and other things up here. And this is just a little whimsical room, a little play area for kids that come to the museum. And I really like the display of toys in the cabinet that I'll show you again. The windows were really cool, actually, looking out of those, because the bottom panes were not squares, they were rectangular. And I noticed that looking in from outside the building when we first got here. If you look at it right there, you can kind of catch it. But there's some really cool old toys on display. Next, it talks about the fires and the fire towers in the area, and we are going to get to go outside. This is kind of neat how they painted the fire tower inside. We're going to get to go outside and climb up this fire tower and see how far you can see from the top. I believe I counted, and there might have been about 45 stairs. I didn't film as I was going up, as the stairs were really thin and kind of unsteady. This is the view. It was smoky from the Canadian wildfires, so it wasn't the best view. And this was a little sculpture thing outside. I'm not really sure the purpose of it. It was kind of cool. And they have really beautiful gardens. Now it's just the beginning of June here, and we have not had the best spring so far, so there's not a lot of flowers in this garden, but I imagine when it gets growing, it's gorgeous throughout the summer. It had some irises, I believe, already in bloom, and that's about it for the springtime flowers right now, but you can tell this is probably really pretty. So this was at the end of our visit to the museum. We had a really nice day, and the lesson here really is go someplace you've never been. I'm sure you'll find something fun to do there. You can never go wrong exploring a small town that you've never been in. There's little gems everywhere.